Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
It is favorite time of the year. But wait, why, Ron? Is it because it's the Brewtiful Games Premier League preview? Or because it's Ein Prosit, and it's Oktoberfest time?
D, all of the above.
Yeah, I went to go shopping for Oktoberfest beers and came to the conclusion that we have to do this for two pods. So you're going to get Oktoberfest beers for this pod and the next one because Oktoberfest kicks off this. We're recording this on Tuesday. Kicks off Friday, Ron, or Saturday? What?
So that's Saturday.
Saturday. Well, you were there. Is it noon? When do they kick that sucker off?
They tap the keg in the morning. Then there's opening festivities, and then it goes at noon. The gates swing wide. The schnitzel is in the fryer.
Oh,
there's lots of beer.
It sounds so good. Well, since we're doing this right before Oktoberfest kicks off and all the good Oktoberfest beers are out, and we got to do a pod next week, we've opted, that'll be in the middle of Oktoberfest, to do a few Oktoberfest brews. So for today's pod, it is officially our Premier League preview, trying something new based off a suggestion from Ferris that was forced on us a bit since Ron is a proud new papa and our timing worked out better. But I actually think I like this, that we're doing our Premier League preview at the first international break and after the what's the word? Transfer window. There we go. Has closed. Deadline day was not as crazy this year. So I like this. We'll see how this rolls. So we're going to go over last year's table. And as a reminder of where things finished, and then we're going to look ahead to the 23-24 Premier League season. And instead of going over every team like in years past, we're going to set a 2-minute timer. We'll see how if anyone gets feisty and it makes it past.
Well,
2 minutes.
and real quick, how you know we'll be at the end of the 2-minute timer is this lovely sound we'll play. It's ready to party.
Every 2 minutes. Gosh, that's going to be played a lot. We apologize. We'll make sure that's equalized so it doesn't blow your car speakers out. Because boy, it's loud in the cans. So yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit of the summer transfer market business along with that. So all of that before we blow the halftime whistle for the relegator of ribs, the promoter of the pork, Mr. Ron. But instead of Ron's beer news, we will have our once a year special edition, which we lovingly call Ron's Who Got Promoted News, as he gives us insight and know-how on the 3 newly promoted clubs to the season's Premier League. And it's my second favorite show because my first one is still Ron talks about what's haunted in the Premier League for Halloween.
Yeah. No, that only happens one time a year as well.
So
I found a bit of a gold mine on that one.
Yeah.
So can't wait till October.
I'm just Luton Town's got to have haunted clotheslines or something.
Like Uncle Earl, invades the pitch because that was his former bathroom.
If you ever smell cigarettes and
spend a lot of time in each day or something.
If you ever smell unfiltered cigarettes mixed with a particular kind of minced pie, then that's Uncle Earl.
Right.
I love it. And then we're going to end off with our picks and predictions where we probably poorly do this, except for our golden boot winner, which I was like, should we just make the contest for number 2? But I guess we'll get there.
Yeah, maybe we go with most assists. I don't know, because last year it was like a runaway, and do we think it's going to be any different, or are we going to have the same 3 this time? Are us 3 going to pick the same person this time?
Or do we curse Holland and we all pick it, and then he just has a drought?
Yeah. Or we just go, or who's going to be second in the boot race?
Yeah,
is what we can call it for this year.
But first, as I said, we got to give her to our Oktoberfest beer. We are all 3 in different areas. So we all each have 3 different beers. We keep going. I've actually got a second one to go with. But first, I'm going to start off with a kind of goodie, but an oldie, gents. One that I look forward to every year. And what I love about it is it's always different every year. And this year, brewed and worked on over in Western North Carolina at Mills River, is Sierra Nevada's Oktoberfest this year. And for those of you keeping score at home, they always do this every year. And what they do is they do it as a collaboration beer. And in the past, they've done Weinsthofen, who they make one of my favorite fest beers, Marsbrau, and Bitburger, where they did a joint brewing with them. Well, this year, what's really cool is they are doing one with a company called, and we don't know this company, but we need to get to Germany and try it. They are working with, and I hope I say this correctly, Kurweiter Brewery. And what's cool about this is a collaboration that is like 20 years in the making. So Sierra Nevada's innovation brewmaster, Scott Jennings, and Kurweiter's founder and brewmaster, Oli Wessel, originally met as classmates in the world-renowned brewing school in Berlin 20 years ago. And so now they were in the same class together, and they're coming back together to make this fest beer. And what's cool is Kurweiter is they are doing craft beer more like American craft breweries do, which is not something you see a ton of in Germany. And so like they're really kind of pushing the envelope over there. The actual official write-up on the Sierra Nevada website is the collab's 20 years in the making, back when our brewmasters were classmates in Berlin. Today, Kurweiter is turning German craft beer on its head, just like we did stateside, and our mutual passion is fused in this fest beer that's bright like polished copper, rich with biscuity malt, and balanced by a punchy blend of German and American hops. And in our thread, I'm going to send you guys... You can check it out later, but I'm going to send you this little article. It's got a short 2-minute video with the gentleman talking about how there are some German hops in there from their flagship beer that they have, which I believe is called Prototype. And then there is there's hops from the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So they did some stuff that's a little different. There's more hops than it's normal in a fest beer, but it's not more for bitterness. It's for flavor. And then the rest of it is more crafted around a traditional fest beer vibe. So,
I can't wait to
try the can, which is probably on the link I sent you guys, but I love the can. So I got this because I wanted to tell you guys you should look for this and grab it.
I'll check it out.
And I will be enjoying it in my Schultzbrau official little stone mug.
Nice.
German made. All right, Ron, what you got?
So I went back to 89 for my beer for Oktoberfest, 1589. The classic, most quintessential beer for Oktoberfest, and you can actually get it at Oktoberfest. A brewery originally brewing beer for Bavarian kings in 1589, Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer. This is the authentic original Oktoberfest beer that you can buy in the Hofbrau tent in Munich's Oktoberfest. A rich golden color. The beer is brewed with a blend of 4 exquisite types of hops, 3 specially from Bavaria, malts, and it's so brilliant. I can't drink anything else, but I mean, I will. But some real quick, interesting history on the Hofbrau Brewing, founded in September 27th, 1589 by Bavarian Duke Wilhelm V. It was originally established to supply beer to the Bavarian court, and thanks to the German beer purity law, anybody remember what that word is?
Reinheitsgebot.
Reinheitsgebot.
Correct.
Reinheitsgebot.
Yep. High quality beer has been brewed there ever since. Some fun anecdotes about Hofbrau is that their beer saved Munich from siege during the 30 Years' War. On May 17, 1632, Munich found itself under siege by Swedish troops, and to avert the plunder and destruction of the city, Hofbrau paid homage to the Swedes in the form of 23,168 liters of beer.
Brilliant.
Among other forms of tribute, everybody got wasted, and it spared the city from further destruction. Then King Ludwig, on the first King Ludwig opened the first Hofbrau public house to the public in 1828. And the whole reason all this ended up happening is because King Ludwig I married his sweetheart, I guess. Don't know if they were actually in love or not, but he got married in 1810, and Oktoberfest is the celebration and the party after the actual ceremony. So, can you imagine you got married, and then since 1810, people have been partying every year for your wedding.
People have been yakking up Verst on that nasty area that you talked about that no one should go to, but some people do unfortunately pass out and nap it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. So I have the Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer.
Excellent.
Which had in many, many, many liters last year.
Well, I went with, I guess this was a German brewery, a new one, and an American brewery. And if we get to my other one, it's an American brewery. Next week, I'm going classic and official as well.
Gotcha. I've got another one for next week. What you got there, Ferris?
Ferris, what Oktoberfest beer did you get to make sure our themed pod wasn't ruined?
Well, gentlemen, from 1780, the original John Jameson. Because the reason we're doing this separately is I have come down with a bit of a cold or a flu. I'm feeling better today, but didn't want to risk that, and I probably don't sound all that great. But as my mom was told many years ago by our pediatrician who was born in the South, if before the days of no 24-hour pharmacies and that sort of thing, add a little Irish whiskey and some honey in there, and that'll do the trick. So I've been subscribing to that for the best part of the 39 years, and that's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have the great Oktoberfest tradition of John Jameson Irish whiskey.
A little hot toddy? You warm it up?
Not so much.
Just the whiskey and
any
honey.
of the honey. Just the booze part.
Just burn that sickness right out of you.
Exactly. But from my decanter here that I got a Jameson glass on some Irish whiskey iced rocks. But their story, if you head over to jamesonwhiskey.com, a long time ago, in a time before selfies, we were founded by that man, John Jameson, born in Aloha in Scotland. In 1740, he came to Dublin in the late 1770s. 4 of his sons followed him into distilling in Ireland, setting up a family dynasty that was to last for generations. He died on the 3rd of December in 1823 at the ripe old age of 83. Now take a look at the number of times 3 appears in the last sentence. It's no wonder we distill 3 times to this very day. It's a very special number to us. So I recently, was there this past year at Bow Street, which started in 1780. So I'm having some of that whiskey.
You holding up that whiskey decanter with your new stash in your England kit, it's perfect. It's like some cosplay from, oh God, I just forgot the name of the show. Of Ted Lasso. It's like we got Florida Ted Lasso over here.
Just reeks of the Isles.
Love it.
But that's
well, thanks for sticking to theme. Thanks for sticking to theme, but thanks for taking care of yourself.
Because I didn't have any. I wasn't planning on doing this here. I was planning on doing it over at Ron's, where we'd be sharing an Oktoberfest together. But the sickness came down on me, so I just wanted to be safe, and with a newborn there, didn't want to,
Oh, I got you. Let's do this.
So I don't know if it's going to come through or not. I'm going to pop my decanter.
Oh, perfectly.
Oh my gosh, this smells fantastic. It smells so biscuity, but you've got the hops you usually get off of Sierra Nevada. I sent you guys the link to the German brewery as well. You should check it out. It's in German, but you should definitely check it out.
Look at that header on. Woo!
Yes, just like in Munich. Oh, you gotta look.
All right, Prost. Or slange
Prost,
to you.
gentlemen. Oh, God.
Oh, Ron, you'd love this, man. You got to grab this. It's like a classic Oktoberfest, but with a hoppier aroma. Ooh, it's good.
I'll look at it at our local Publix. They constantly carry the Sierra Nevada stuff.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's good. And this one in particular, I think, though they have, obviously they're out west, I think this one was done at Mills River, North Carolina, at least according to that video I sent you guys. Oh, man, that's good.
Ferris?
Smells like Irish whiskey.
Well, I hope so. If it didn't, I would tell you need to go to the doctor right now.
I mean, what is I should probably know this, but what is the I can't give like an IB a 12 ABV or anything, but I can go 40% alcohol by volume.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. And like I said, introduced in 1780, and yeah.
All right, gents. I am going to take a quick look through the table. So I'll just run the table top to bottom. As a reminder, since it's been since last year or a couple of months ago for everyone. So here we go. As things ended for the 22-23 Premier League season, of course, champions were Manchester City. Next up were Arsenal. Below them, Manchester United, and then coming at fourth, Newcastle United. Of course, those four went on to be in the Champions League. Then rounding out in fifth, you've got Liverpool, and then sixth, punching above the weight, and their first time ever going to a Europe or a Europe conference is Brighton Hove and Albion, coming in at sixth, having a great year last year, despite all the craziness we've already talked about in previous pods. I don't want to bring it up, or Ron will get feisty, and the pod will go on for another hour.
True story.
And then in seventh place, securing, what is that thing called again? The Europa Conference League qualification, Cuppity Cup. Aston Villa in seventh. And those are all your European slots right there. That's an interesting list to look at compared to how things are kicking right now currently. That gives you eighth, Tottenham. Number 9, you get Brentford. In 10th, Fulham. Crystal Palace come in 11th. Number 12 is Chelsea. Number 12 is Chelsea. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that again? It's just so good.
Finished out of the top 10 last year, just as a reminder.
Just as a reminder.
I don't need it.
Coming in 13th, the Wolverhampton Wanderers. And then 14th, West Ham. 15th, AFC Bournemouth. 16th, Nottingham Forest. 17th, Everton. Scooting by the skin of their teeth.
Once again, and if you look at their last 5 games, it was what? It was the 5-1 win over Brighton on May 8th, which was like their fourth to last game in the Premier League, which secured that, I think, for them, because it was right around that time where they might have to go down to the last day, but Everton did it.
Ridiculous. And then your relegated teams coming in 18th, 19th, and 20th, respectively, are Leicester City, Leeds United, Southampton. Finally, Southampton, after years of being picked by us on the pod for going down, especially from Ron, and then Ron doesn't pick Southampton, and they finally fade away.
Jerks.
What a dismal year they had.
How are they doing now in the championship?
I think they're not doing too bad. I want to say that they are either top or in the top 3. They were, but no, I like
7.
They are currently out of any sort of promotion race, as they're only 5 games in that league, but they're 7th currently in the championship.
And that was how things wrapped up last year. So Ferris, this moves us on to your 2-minute questions.
Yeah, so we'll go over. We got about 7 or 8 questions revolving around some big signings, as there was a lot of movement in the transfer window in the Premier League, especially with a lot of those clubs that are fighting for those top 7 spots. Even Chelsea, who was not fighting for that last year, but obviously made waves in the transfer department. We'll kind of go through those, and just to speed things up, we'll set a timer and we'll play this lovely sound at the end of 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Party time. Oh, it's really Oktoberfest. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Here we go. Wait, I just turned Jamaican there. That was a bad German.
Yeah, no.
I'll turn in my dialect card now.
Yeah. And if I have too much of this on an empty stomach, that's gonna make me turn into something.
Oh boy, oh, I know what's gonna happen. All right.
So is it 2 minutes after I read the headline?
Correct.
Okay, here we go. With skipper Ilkay Gundogan and star winger Riyad Mahrez on the move to Barca and Saudi Arabia, respectively, can replacements like now former Chelsea midfielder Mateo Kovacic, and young Belgian winger Jeremy Doku from France help Man City repeat a treble?
My gut says they don't repeat a treble, and I think it's purely on the fire is a little gone after having done it. That's the only reason. Not that the talent is not there to do it.
I just go on odds alone, right? There's only been one other team to have done it in the past, several years since the Premier League, has been around since 92. We'd have to go back further than that to see if anybody else did it before it was called the Premier League. So odds alone tell you no, they won't. One thing that Man City has done extremely well and why they have continued to be good is, yes, they have spent, but they haven't spent anywhere near as much as what teams are spending like now, but they've spent smart. And they continue to retool themselves over and over and over again. When you let your captain go, when you let Mahrez go, you're able to bring these players in and we'll see how they go throughout the year. But Man City just always seem to do smart business in the market to get, like a Rodri who's been essential to them that was fairly unknown. So I don't think they do a treble, but they could possibly do a double, and that would be Premier League, and then name any other one for me, probably FA Cup or something.
FA Cup. I just don't see him doing the Champions League again.
So tough.
I think that's the one. Sadly enough, I don't think it's. I don't know. They're just shaping up in the way this year is going. I know it's 4 games in 5, whatever it is. But it just seems like it's their season again. So I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Staying healthy seems to be a question.
Yeah.
For some key players. So I agree with Ferris. I think we're going to get probably a double out of them, but not necessarily the triple.
Hey, did we do? Was that actually 2 minutes, or were we just done?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
That was actually 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
Excellent. Well, all right. Next question. Will the signings of former West Ham captain Declan Rice for £100 million and a Champions League winner and Kai Havertz from Chelsea, that's great, help to fill in the gaps for Arsenal to push past City for the title this season? I think Man City's still just too good. I know you're talking about injuries and stuff, but I have a tough time not saying that they don't win the league again as much as I'd love to see Arsenal make a run for it again. But
I kind of agree with you there. I think the signing of Rice, even for that amount, I think is a very good signing. I'm a fan of his. He hasn't looked particularly great so far. Yes, he has 1 goal to his name, but other than that, he kind of just hasn't really. You don't really know he's there in some of the games they played. But with that said, I think he's a brilliant player and they'll do well. Kai Havertz, we've gone off on tangents of that. Who the hell knows from that aspect?
He's just got to win us the Champions League, buddy. He's just got to win us the Champions League. That's fine. That's all he's got to do.
And maybe that's what they brought him in for, because you guys are back in the Champions League. But fighting on that front is different than fighting on Europa League front, right? Because you tend to care a little bit more, I would assume, or you tend to push a little bit more. So I don't think they're going to win the title, but I think they are going to push and be up there in that fight for the title up until probably the last few weeks of the season. But there might be another team up there pushing with them and pushing City.
Yeah, that's it. That was a minute. So.
Dang, I was like, okay. I mean, I can, continue to go on, I guess. But no, we'll move along. Our signings, like young Danish striker Rasmus Højlund, creative English midfielder Mason Mount, and Morocco's number 6, Sofiane Amrabat. Enough for Manchester United to stay in the top 4 and push for the title.
Ron, you haven't gone the last 2.
I would
Gotta be
say
fair.
it is not enough for them to push for the title, but it is probably enough to get into the top 4.
Hi, Ferris.
I would agree with you, Ron. I don't think they're going to push for the title this season. Not for top 4. We'll see the Champions League run. I think hopefully they make it out of the group and they push a little bit further than that. And you know what? Let's try to retain our Chupacabra Cup. Yeah. But I like the signing of Amrabat on deadline day, loan with an option to buy. I think that's a really good signing. Hoyland looked sharp and bright in his small debut. Let's see what he does if he gets to start against Brighton on the weekend. Mason Mount out injured. Haven't seen a lot from him. Hasn't looked best. Where do you play him? Same kind of problems as Arsenal has with Havertz. So we'll see. I think there's enough talent there to certainly stay in the top 4, but to win the title, I'm not so sure.
Good luck in the Europa Conference Championship League. That's
You
my
think?
vote. I'm not being a jerk. There's just so much stuff between Sancho, the answers.
Oh, yes,
There's
yes.
so much stuff going on right now that I'm not even including. I agree with everything you said about talent on the pitch. Something is up. Something's up. Could be a rough year because something is up.
It starts from the top.
Yeah.
Accusations on Anthony, whether those are true or not, that doesn't start from the top, and he's obviously going to take a step away, and the club has said take a step away to deal with that. But there's a lot of reports the Glazers have pulled out of putting the sale of the club up, and they want $10 billion for it. The stock price has plummeted. I know that was going around in our chat. So a lot. Yeah, you're right. A lot of weird crap happening. That does that affect the game on the pitch or not? Time will tell.
It makes me think about Chelsea. Makes me think about Abramovich era Chelsea and the whole fallout with the Ukrainian war and stuff. How it's like all this other stuff, and that's anyway.
Possibly, yeah.
Is that back to me? No, it's on to Ryan.
No. Newcastle bring in depth and coverage in the form of Italian midfielder Sandro Tonali, Leicester winger Harvey Barnes, and a young English defender Tino Livramento from Southampton. But will it be enough for Newcastle to make waves in the Champions League? Gentlemen, I don't think so.
With their group of death that we talked about a few pods ago, I don't know. But you know what? I like the makeup of this team a lot. I like what they've done and the players that they have brought in. I like these signings a lot. It's whether or not we talked about this on one of the last pods is how the guy that gets them to that next level. That next level will be to compete on a Champions League level. So I'll be very curious. I'm very excited to see them in the league this season, but I don't know if they'll make huge waves, and they may not even get out of the group.
Is this a play on something I think you might have said, Ron, in a previous pod, but kind of the way that Eddie Howe, they came out of the gate kicking butt with the Cherries, playing like they wanted to play, and it was like everyone's like, "Whoa!" And they kind of punched above weight. And then the following season, it was terrible because everyone kind of figured their game out. Like, did you say something about that? Like with Newcastle, with him,
I did.
Yeah. I think Ron did.
And I feel that's going to be the problem. I don't want to play them. Don't be wrong, but I'm not. I don't think they are as frightening as they were last year.
I mean, really, it comes down to which Newcastle is going to show up, right? The energetic, on the front foot, kind of play out of the back, up the wings, through the midfield to the wings, kind of hard-nosed attack, or are they going to be relatively lethargic and slow and not have good chemistry between the midfield and the attacking players, right? That's what we've seen in the league so far this year from Newcastle. So hopefully they grow into these tournaments that they now find themselves in, or it's going to be a crash out early.
Concur. We're all agreeing too much.
I know.
Over to Liverpool, they hope to get back into the Champions League as they replace midfield losses of Fabinho and captain Jordan Henderson to Saudi Arabia with a World Cup winner and former Brighton man Alexis McAllister, along with Hungarian midfielder from RB Leipzig, Dominik Suzabal. Say it, Ferris.
Oh, I have problems with this one.
Suzali?
Dominic.
Those Bosley.
No.
Zobasley?
Soboslai, I think.
I'm going to go with Ferris's. He's not saying he's drinking less than us, but he's not. He's drinking whiskey. But will these midfield replacements be enough for them to get back to challenging for the title? Short answer, no.
I don't.
Not this year.
I
Salah's off to Saudi Arabia come January.
Yeah, well, they at least survived. They at least survived the deadline of the Saudi Arabian deadline, which was like the 7th or the 9th, something along those lines. I don't. I'm torn because I do think they could be that other team fighting for the title up there because they are. I feel that those additions are much stronger. I know it stinks when you lose your captain, but it's going to be consistency for them, right? That's always been the thing for them, especially in the past year or so, is are they going to be consistent enough? I think their back four is what's going to hold them back at this point. Has Van Dijk aged a bit, and then what else do you have back there? That could be a problem. So I don't think the title, but top four, I think they could get back in the top four for sure.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see our predictions.
I think they don't end up in the title race, and I think they're going to finish just outside of the top four, mostly because of things like you just said, consistency and that defense. That defense barely shows up on most Premier League games, so they got their work cut out for them. That's my opinion.
I would also argue there's some teams that we're going to talk about that are going to push them out, I think, of that top four spots. So that's my thought.
Party time. Life without Kane has begun in Tottenham, but will manager signing Ange Postecoglou from Celtic and English midfielder James Maddison from Leicester City be enough for Tottenham to return to the Champions League?
Hey, Prost to Kane, his first Germany Oktoberfest, right?
And he looks great in Lederhosen, and they've already done the shoot for that.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm loving Kane right now. I've always been a fan of his, but I don't like that he went to Bayern, but I can get it. Prefer he gone to Dortmund. But regardless, he looks like he's having fun over there. He's scoring goals. He's wearing lederhosen. He's drinking beer. He's chumming it up with Thomas Mueller. And I think in a weird way, Tottenham are a bit, I don't say better off, but a bit more freer without Kane. You see what James Maddison has done so far. It's obviously a big change with Postecoglou coming in there and completely changing the system and working on a culture change there in general. But I do like that James Maddison signing a lot. I think it's what they needed in that midfield. Takes you back to the days where they used to have a Modric. They used to have an Eriksen that could spray that ball around for them. He's seemingly doing that right now. So will they have the goal scoring, though, on the other end, up front and on the wings? Will Son continually score? That's something that Kane did do. Will Son do that?
I'm really torn about these guys. They seem to have a lot of single point failure, right? Maddison is kind of the linchpin in that midfield, spraying that ball around, like you said, being really smart. He's got great vision, catches players, making runs, delivers dime passes that are just incredible. But if he gets injured or some team figures out how to stop that and clog him up, what happens? And then the same thing, who's scoring for them if it's not Son? So on a consistent basis, right?
Sure.
So I think it's going to be really tricky if someone figures out how to cork that midfield.
Gosh, I'm Ferris. I'm kind of loving this little format you did, dude.
When you're sick, the mind just
Yeah.
goes in all different places.
Let you
It was a
wander a little
fever.
bit.
And this is my first Jameson of the day for anybody out there. I've not been drinking this all day, mind you. I've been doing, Dayquil and that sort of thing. So
Respectable stuff.
correct.
Well, from
Orange juice.
From discussions of Oktoberfest and Schnitzel to another kind of ham, West Ham United might be Europa Conference League champions. But with the loss of their captain and midfield talisman, Declan Rice, will signings like James Ward-Prowse from Southampton and the midfield duo from Ajax of Edson Alvarez and Mohamed Kudus be enough for them to become Europa League champions this season?
I think they have a shot for sure. They're in a group with Olympiacos, Freiburg, and TSC Bakio Topola. I'm not quite sure where they're from. I'm going to have to look them up. But it's going to depend for them, right? Where do they want to fight? The last team's from Serbia, by the way. I think they have a shot. I don't know if they're going to win it, and I don't think they're going to win it just because there's a lot of teams in the odds. But I think they're going to be torn between wanting to fight for another Europa League place by actually placing in those spots again, and then how well they do in the Europa. I just don't know if they're deep enough to do that. They spent their money well with that 100 mil from Rice and all of those signings that we just said. They spent that very, very well. We'll see how that translates in the longevity of the season, though, when they're fighting on two fronts. They did okay. Obviously, they did okay with the Conference League last year, but Europa League's a different beast, different competition. And then obviously you're going to fight with all those teams that we've kind of gone over so far.
I think the signing of Ward-Prowse was probably the smartest thing they've done because, again, even though he is kind of single point failure, similar to Madison at Tottenham, the guy's just, a free kick specialist, really great vision, really great awareness of where he should be on the field. It's really smart that they signed him. And I think that it is enough for them to take the Europa League champion.
Well done.
I think they'll fight in the Premier League to get back in the Europa League, but I don't think they'll pull that off. But I think they'll fight valiantly. Maybe I'll give you a better judgment after they play Man City when they come back this weekend.
There you go.
Finally, spending £345.9 million this summer, including setting a new British transfer record of £115 million for Moises Caicedo. Will he, along with other several 100,000 signings that Chelsea had, be enough to crack the European places again?
And continue to read, Ron.
I will. Hold on.
That's
Okay.
in parentheses.
For effect. Damn. Everybody's a critic. And just because Chelsea spent £100 million more than anyone else in the league, they get an extra 1 minute of conversation. Yeah.
3 minutes. Listen, when I honestly pulled that 345.9 million pounds, they also did 240 some on sold players. Now, the only difference with that, in my opinion, or not the only difference, but one of the big things, you bring in Moises Caicedo, right? Fairly unknown, had one good year with Brighton. That's about it for that amount of pounds. You let one of the best midfielders the Premier League's ever seen, in Conte, go away from the club. Yes, he got good money from Saudi Arabia, and for that price that he went, for the transfer fee that he went, okay, I can see it. I know he was injured a lot last year, but
he's been injured a lot throughout his Chelsea career.
Correct. But
I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a retirement tour out of with all the ankle and knee problems.
Fair enough. But
yeah, I don't think
Caicedo has a lot to do to even put on the same pants as.
Well, that's not fair.
Conte has.
I think that's to anybody that would be replacing Conte.
Sure.
I think Conte's injuries, like Ron said, no, he had time to go. I guess, and when Ferris puts it the way that he does, like, because other clubs, including Arsenal, were in this pitch for Moises Caicedo. Why with one good year, 115. And I'm not blaming Chelsea for that. There were more clubs than them going after him. Good for him. But man, that's wild.
I think it's a lot to do with the talent and yes, he had a very, very good season last year with Brighton, but the market the way it is, your agent can float you out there, and that price can go up and up. You can start a bidding war of sorts, because one of the things that is very difficult to get in this game, that's why Declan Rice went for the fee that he went, is a solid number 6. The reason United went with a loan for Amrabat for Casemiro is if you don't have a leggy, solid number 6 in there to protect your back 4 and link your front, attacking players, it's hard to find. Probably one of the hardest things to find in the game besides a number 9. So I think that's part of the reason why it's gone for that much. I like a lot of the signings that Chelsea has done. Do I think they're going to crack the European places again this season? Right now, probably, you could sit here and say probably not, but I do think that they will get there. And I put European because I don't think they're going to Champions League. I think they get to Europa or Conference League this season, or they get back to those spots, not the Champions League.
I don't think they get into Europe.
No, not this year. A lot of these players could do it next year. A lot of that talent could do it next year. I just don't think this year, man.
Yeah, agreed.
This moves us over, Ron, to the next section. Is this halftime? Is this the halftime whistle?
I think this is indeed halftime.
All right. We're going to move over to Ron's not beer news, but who got promoted news. Ron, should we do our second beers with your promote? This is good. I'm ready.
Sure.
All right.
Go for it. I mean, I'm going to drink the same beer.
Oh, you're having the same thing. I'm doing something different.
Yep.
I'm just going to continue with my glass of
just pour another shot.
John Jay, baby.
Well, I got an oldie and a goodie for me in that last year couldn't get this in cans at all. When I went to the store, so I ended up taking so many of these different Oktoberfest home. But I know Ferris doesn't have his he doesn't have his
I like it.
little scarf right now, but it's Schultzbrau's Oktoberfest lager. Hard around these parts to snag and can. They will tap their kegs live with Germany at the same time. So
Yes.
whatever time in the morning that's going to be, 6 a.m. We're thinking we may go. Yeah.
Do it.
We're thinking we may go and crack some beers and get some schnitzel at 6 in the morning in Knoxville with this place.
Get Afton right up to
Absolutely.
when they spline that barrel, that she gets sprayed with some of that beer.
Well, anybody traveling, seriously, if you go to Knoxville, you got to go to Schultzbrau. I'll real quick, I'll give you their the original beer of Oktoberfest. In the year of 1810, Oktoberfest began. Well, we know this is a celebration of King Ludwig, as Ron mentioned. But the amber lager boasts a rich and malty flavors to toast with family, friends, and celebrate the coming of fall. To keep the tradition of craftsmanship alive, the Schultz family brews this beer according to the Reinheitsgebot. This means no chemicals or preservatives, just quality ingredients for this festive lager. No matter your heritage, the spirit of our Oktoberfest Marzen will have you singing Ein Prosit. And I got to look it up, but I think they might be one of the few American breweries that actually do brew to the German purity law and get German ingredients for their beers. Yeah.
Is it year round, or is it only specific beers at specific times? Because there's almost none.
So local
of the American breweries that do that year round.
So it is year round, because this is the thing that's on all their cans and on their website. It's what they are not called a craft brewery. What they call themselves are local craft import, made with ingredients imported from Germany.
Gotcha.
So they don't call themselves a craft brewery. They're a local craft import. So they import all their ingredients, but make it here. Yeah. So, and they don't do anything weird. I love that they don't do anything. I mean, I'm sure it would be good, but they just do the normal stuff. When they do something weird, they do stuff that we're not used to, like, I don't know, the Rattlers and stuff with the lemonade and beer that German brew and stuff like that.
Oh, but man, when you go to Oktoberfest and you have an 11 a.m. table sitting, you definitely start with Radlers.
Yeah. And they're good.
You'll be gone by noon.
And when it's hot outside, you can just
Absolutely.
pound those suckers.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to try to get some of this to get to you guys. They only had 1 4-pack at the store, so I'm going to see if we can get some because this Oktoberfest is. Well, I'm
Please
curious for
do.
you to try it, especially Ron, because like, I mean, it's legit. It's very classic.
I can't wait.
Cheers, gents. Prost.
Prost.
Cilantro and USA just scored their second against Oman. Brendan Aronson free kick took a little bit of a deflection, but 2-0. And Greg Berhalter's second game back
Yep.
Don't
First
on
one.
the sidelines.
look.
Little tough.
We can't talk about Berhalters and other ex coaches from America that just got resigned from their MLS job. Oh, the U.S. has got a mess. Yeah, that's a whole nother pod.
Yeah, we'll say before going on, the saga of Robles and whatever is now over.
Yep. He's
as he has now stepped down. So what was it, like the 43-day saga or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, he did it just late enough to make sure Spanish football looks like a bunch of idiots. So there's still going to be plenty of fallout from that.
Yep. So newly promoted teams to the Premier League for 23-24 season are Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton Town. So Burnley and Sheffield United we have done in the past, but I'll give you a fast rundown. Burnley's, the nicknames are the Clarets, and that's majority for the color of their kits. They were founded May 18th of 1882, 2 years before the OK Corral, if you know anything about American Wild West history. So that means it was 141 years ago.
Skin that smoke wagon.
That's not a euphemism.
That's a little tombstone for
not.
you. God, now I want to watch that movie again.
I know, right? Their ground is Turf Moor with a capacity of 21,944. Their current manager is Vincent Kompany, formerly of Man City player under Mr. Pep Guardiola. Promoted from the EFL Championship, they came in first. So they were promoted. The last time in the Premier League was the 21-22 season. And their main rivals are the Blackburn Rovers. We've all seen and had fun with some Burnley over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and Blackburn, man, I'd love to see them back in the Premier League, but it's been many years since they've been in there.
Oh, yeah.
Were you back when they used to have a striker named Roque Santa Cruz? Great name. Fun player, but they've been down. But they are in the championship in their 13th, just for those of you that are following along in the EFL championship at home.
Next up, Sheffield United, nicknamed the Blades, as you can tell by their crest, and that's due to the town's history, or long history, of producing cutlery. Founded March 22, 1889, 134 years ago. Their ground is Bramall Lane. Capacity 30,050 people, and their manager Paul Heckenbottom. Promoted from the EFL, they came in second, so they were automatically promoted. Last time in the Premier League was the 2021 season, and their main rivals are Sheffield Wednesday, for which they play the Steel City Derby.
That's a great name.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to go watch. And sadly, they do not any longer have their wonderful talisman, Billy Sharp.
They do not. However, Billy Sharp already has 2 goals for the LA Galaxy that, God, I hope they come. And they should hopefully come here to Orlando next season. And he hopefully will be playing. And you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be down there trying to get my Sheffield United kit signed by him.
Heck yeah.
That'd be pretty rad.
So this brings us to, I'll say the newbies, because they have not been up while any of us have been following the top flight of English soccer, Luton Town Football Club. Let's think of this, gentlemen. 9 years ago, they were in the 5th tier of English football. That's like way down in the bottom, and it's not even professional at that point anymore. The nickname, the Hatters, due to the town history of producing hats and other garments. Founded in April 11th of 1885, 1 year after the OK Corral, so 138 years ago. Their ground is Kenilworth Road. They've been there since 1905, and I'm sure you've seen pictures and video of it. It's quite incredible. The capacity of that stadium, 11,265. I'll come back to that in a minute. Their manager, currently Rob Edwards. I say currently because who knows if he'll be there by the end of the year.
Does not currently lead the odds on the sack race.
Nope.
We will get there when we say who's going to be first sacked for our predictions.
Okay. Of course. Promoted from the EFL Championship, they came in third after a playoff with Coventry City where they won 6-5 on PKs. So squeaky bum time right down to the wire.
That was a crazy one.
Expensive game in football.
Yep, that was a crazy one. I remember catching that one.
Gentlemen, would either of you like to take a guess on the last time Luton Town Football Club was in the top flight or the first division of English football?
I saw this somewhere.
2023. I want to go back. I'm going to go back 63 years. Some James Bond stories have been happening.
I'll go. I think it was.
What was the what are the years? Don't make me do the math.
23. I said 63. It's 23, so that's 2020. That's 1960.
No, I thought I saw somewhere in the 1980s. It was like high, like 1988 rings a bell. Maybe, I don't know.
1955, 1956.
Was the last time they were in the first division?
First time they were in, or the last time they were in the first division. You were thinking of the FA Cup final in 1985.
Yeah, was it?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
In 1959, they were also FA Cup finalists where they played and lost to Nottingham Forest 2-1.
Where they played and lost in somebody's backyard and in somebody's dining room at the
time. Their main rivals are Watford.
I'll be damned.
I'd love to see that match.
I'll be damned.
Watford. Great. So let's go back to their stadium. Their ground is, again, called Kenilworth Road. They've been there since 1905. The stadium is named for a road that runs alongside of the stadium, even though the official address of the stadium is 1 Maple Road. Can't make that up.
That's one.
No, you can't. That is. I did not know that, Ron. That is a wild little bit of information.
Yep, it's a road that runs adjacent to it, but the actual address is 1 Maple Road.
I love when Ron does this every year because there's always one bit of like knowledge. You're just like, I'll be damned. I didn't know
that. As I said, they moved to the stadium in 1905 in time for the start of that season. The original main stand burned down in 1921 and was replaced with the current stand, and that was for the 1922-23 season. Extensive rehab was done to the stadium over time, and in the 1930s saw the first edition of floodlights. And the capacity of the ground moved to 30,000 people by the Second World War. They were one of the first to have a synthetic turf field, which happened in the early 1980 area, around 1985. But fans and players alike decided it was a, quote, plastic pitch, and they boycotted. So the turf was replaced with grass.
Yeah, the Brits don't like themselves any sort of AstroTurf, as we call it here. But yeah, the plastic pitch, they're not very fond of it over here. I can't even imagine if like they had a pitch that was similar to like Boise State's where it was all blue. They'd probably lose their if that was the case.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine like Man City's field is the
blue plastic,
right? Oh God.
You know who would do that? It's the Spurs. I'm just going to go and say it. That's who'd have a blue pitch. It would be the friggin' Spurs.
Right. But I do think I think the Spurs, don't they have one of those very cool, I think Real Madrid have it where like a plastic pitch can be brought up above the real pitch, and the plastic pitch is used for concerts and football games and all, or American football games and all of that stuff. And then for like the for football itself over there, it's brought down and they play on grass. I think they could do that, right?
I'm not 100% sure. You're probably accurate because the stadium was just recently built. But there's a Spanish, is it the Real Madrid?
That one can do it.
that has a pretty wicked documentary about the 3 layers of fields
Oh,
underneath.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's on, where did I see that? Hulu? I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please.
So in 1985, massive stadium destruction in the wake of the Luton riot caused a lot of destruction and destroyed a lot of it.
Why did they riot?
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Love it.
Although Luton were asked by Millwall to make the Wednesday night match all ticketed, the warning was not heeded. A disproportionately large away following, which was twice the size of Millwall's average home gate, arrived on the day of the game, and by 5 p.m., pubs, newsstands all around town were having windows smashed, things stolen, people roughed up as police struggled to cope. The Kenilworth stand at the time, basically a gigantic terrace, was reserved for the away supporters that night. It was overfilled by 7 p.m., which was 45 minutes before kickoff. Spectators were even perched on the scoreboard supports after the turnstiles had been broken. 10 minutes later, officers from the Bedfordshire police were helpless as hundreds of visitors scaled the fences in front of the stand to rush down the pitch toward Luton's supporters in a packed Oak Road end stand. A hail of bottles, cans, nails, coins, and fire bombs saw these home supporters fleeing up the terraces, but their numbers still growing fast entering the stand meant there was little they could do to avoid being attacked.
Jeez.
The players came out to warm up and almost immediately went back up into the tunnel. The rioters set up on the bobbers stand, ripping out seats and brandishing them as weapons. And even a message appeared on the stadium's electronic scoreboard stating that the match wouldn't start until they returned to their allocated area. But that was completely ignored, and an appeal from the managers of both teams came over the ground's loudspeaker also had no effect. It was only when the managers appeared on the sideline that spectators finally returned to the stadium or to the stand, even though they managed to find their way to the stand. There were still a lot of fights breaking out, still a lot of violence, firebombs, missiles continued. Police dogs were sicked on the people that were on the pitch to get all the pitch invaders off. The match continued.
What?
The match continued with Luton Town winning over Millwall 2-1. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But the damage was so bad that it went from around 30,000. The stadium was so damaged that the 30,000 seats were eventually reduced to 11,000 and change, or actually 10,000 and change, and never rebuilt. Permits, all kinds of other problems about fixing the stadium. And the team tried to move the stadium 6 times throughout their history after this event, and on all accounts were either denied, ran out of money, all that kind of stuff. So this stand is now, got, as of this year, they upped the amount of seats in the rehab of it so that they could be a Premier League side, which is also why the team was not able to play their first couple of home games, because the stands were still being refurbished.
And they're what, up to 11,000 or so now?
11,265.
Gotcha.
Wow. So this is a very storied and very interesting history on this football club. How many times they've been kind of up and down, what they've, almost won, what they've won, how they've been financially depressed. It's a really interesting history on this football club.
I want them to stick around. Yeah, I just so this is maybe a conversation for another pod, or something to throw out there to think about for a pod. But it's kind of fascinating how, on one hand, like, there sometimes it's a concern, like, Oh, Man City's probably going to win again. Is the Premier League coming like Barcelona, English football? Becoming like not Barcelona, but just the Spanish league in general, where it's Barcelona or it's Real Madrid, right? Is the Premier League destined to become that way? And then it's interesting how out of the Championship, you get these clubs like this, the Bournemouth story of them going almost into a bankruptcy and then coming out, and Luton Town did the same thing. Like, it's interesting to see what comes out of the Championship and manages to make it that sort of fights against that. I realize that's not the top flight, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I to like kind of quickly answer that. Well, to quickly answer that, mention a few things. Why is Millwall always involved in these riots or these violence? Like, weren't they the team that was part of like
we're
the Green Street hooligans and with West Ham, was it?
Yeah. First, for soccer/football history in the UK, the late 70s into the 80s is kind of a really dark time for hooligans.
Yeah. A lot of violence and a lot of
sport is way different now than it was then.
Absolutely. To answer that, Blake, no, I don't think so. I think you could have one team that can dominate for several years, similar as United did in kind of the late 90s, early 2000s, the way that Man City is now. But you see not a whole lot of leagues out there have a Leicester City that wins the league. I think the way that the money is being spent in the Premier League, as it being the biggest league in the world, it always has a chance for another team, whether that's a Liverpool, whether that's an Arsenal, whether that's a United, a Tottenham, whoever, to kind of get in there and win. I think the Championship is just a freaking grind. There's 42 games. It is a stretch and a half. There's a playoff in there, top two teams. Right now it's Preston North End, Ipswich, and Leicester City that has the top three, but only the top two automatically advance, and then 3 through 6 play in a playoff. So it's a lot more of a gambit to see who comes up in a way. So I think it's one of the reasons why the Premier League and the English game is so much fun to watch, and why it's so popular around the world. Because you don't have necessarily a Real Madrid or Barca that always win, or a Bayern that always win in Germany. Several years of PSG that have always won in France. So yeah, Man City have won, but they've been pushed to the brink each time that they have won in the past few seasons. And we had Liverpool win a few seasons before that. We had Chelsea, was it, that won a few more seasons before that. So it just kind of depends, I think. But it's definitely the best league in the world because of a lot of those things.
Yeah, it is. That's why we do a show about it.
That's right. And
pretty
that's
much
out of the halftime.
All right. Well, somehow we're doing good on time as we move over to picks and predictions. Monsieur Ferris, do you want to take this over?
Absolutely, my friend. Okay. So just like we've been doing on every pod since we've started, we're going to do top 4 in order, and then not like every pod we did, Golden Boot. We're going to do who's going to get second in the Golden Boot, because if we all have Holland, that's going to be a bit of a wash. So we'll go with the second for that. We'll go first manager sack. There has not been a manager sack, but I will give you guys some odds on that. Who's getting relegated, and in no particular order. And then, as we started in the year that Leicester City won the Premier League, the Leicesterish prediction as their odds to win that year were absolutely insane. So what is kind of your Leicesterish out there prediction? To give you an example of that, and if you didn't listen to our pod at the end of the season, some of those like Leicesterish predictions that we had was Ron said Leeds would make your Europa League. They obviously are playing in the championship now. I said Tottenham to win the league last year. They finished outside of the top 7. And then Blake said that Nottingham Forest would end in 10th, and he was, oddly enough, the closest because they finished in 16th. So, yeah, that's what we mean by Leicester's prediction. But we will start with top 4 in order. Who wants to go first?
Blake.
I'm only going to give you my top 3. I'll save my 4th for my Leicester-ish prediction.
Okay.
How's that? All right. So top 4, Man City, followed by Arsenal, followed by Spurs.
Okay.
And I'll give you my fourth with my illustrious prediction.
Fair enough. I'll go Man City. I'll go top three is going to be the same. Man City, Arsenal, Man United. I will probably throw Liverpool in there as fourth.
Blake didn't say Man City, or I mean United. He said Tottenham, didn't he?
I did.
He said Man City, Arsenal, Spurs as his 1, 2, 3, and then I'll
Yep.
give his fourth when we get to Lester's prediction.
Right. Sorry, you said I'm going to go the same, and then you said
Except-
Man United. So that's
No. I said I'm going to do the same in terms of Man City, Arsenal.
Oh,
But then,
okay. Maybe you cut out.
I'm going to have the same as last year that it ended with Man City, Arsenal, United, and then instead of Newcastle getting in there, I will put Liverpool in fourth.
Oh. I'll give you all four.
All right.
Man City, Arsenal, Brighton Hove Albion, Tottenham.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, we all got Spurs and Arsenal and then two, but interesting. Okay. Second in the Golden Boot. It sounds kind of weird saying. Second in the Golden Boot. Ron, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm going to I think I'm going to go with.
So wait, this means we're all saying Holland, right? We all wrote Holland.
We
and
all
we're
agree
going
Holland's going to win
number
the Golden
2.
Boot again. I was the only
okay.
one that actually got that right last year, surprisingly. But yes,
Okay,
if
sorry.
we're all saying that, then we'll go second. If somebody else has a different Golden Boot, then by all means, we can stick with it.
No.
No, all right.
Yeah.
Silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's going to get second in the Golden Boot
Okay.
behind him?
I'm going to go with Embuemo from Brentford.
Okay, that's a heck of a shout.
Scoring like crazy right now.
Okay.
Hopefully,
All
keep-
right. Dang, that's tough. I will probably.
come on. I need a 2-minute timer here.
Yeah, I know, right? I will take second. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'll probably go Salah, and that's assuming that he sticks the entire year. But I'll go Salah.
All right. Hey, this is to give some love back, especially to our buddy Kim, who won last year's Champions League, our fantasy Premier League season last year. Because I give Spurs a lot of crap, but I've already picked him in the top 4, and I'm going to say my number 2, Son Heung-min.
Okay, all right.
With no Kane, I think he's going to rack him up.
So I mean, so far he's off to a good start. I
Yeah.
mean, he has all 3 goals in one game,
Right.
but he has 3 goals.
Right? He's going to have a good season. That's why I put them in the top 4.
Fair enough. All right, first manager sacked. Now, there has not been a manager that has been sacked yet. However, who do you guys think is the odds-on favorite to be first sacked?
Who's up first this go around?
Well, no. I'm just saying, just with the odds we have right now, who do you think is the odds-on favorite from the books coming out of England?
It's Sean
That
Dyche.
would be Sean Dyche. Yep, it is
Yeah.
2-1. Then you have to go down to Paul Heckenbottom of Sheffield United, and then Rob Edwards of Luton. And you go Marco Silva's next odds, and then Eddie Howe is up there before Gary O'Neill of Wolverhampton and Areola from Bournemouth and Vincent Kompany from Burnley. So, who do you gents think is going to be first sacked?
Scottish Jose Mourinho's out. Sean Dyche is out.
You think?
Yeah. To me, it's like the Holland thing.
I don't think it's Sean Dyche just because they've been through a heck of a lot of managers, and they're not in a financial spot to even do that again. I don't think.
Right.
And who else is really gonna,
Gonna go
at
to
least
Everton.
kind of right the ship a little bit there, right?
Who's going to want to go? They're teetering on the brink of, relegation. Who's going to want to go to manage a relegation side?
They'll do.
Yeah.
They'll have an interim, whatever they'll do, but it doesn't. They're going to do something because it's so bad, and I don't think it's going to get any better. And I think he's going to go. I think Everton is the dumpster fire this year, and it's a foregone conclusion.
We'll see. I'll go Mauricio. No, I'm kidding. I will probably take. As weird as it is, no, I'm gonna take Rob Edwards. I'll take second there. Although he got him up, I think if Luton continue on this dire run, they're gonna have to make a change and bring in a Big Sam or somebody that maybe has some Premier League experience. Can you imagine? Oh, I'm Big Sam. I'm going to come through your living room to get to my seat in the stadium.
Kind of like
here's a pie from the backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Just plows through the wall. That's brilliant. I'm going with Heckenbottom from Sheffield United.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too.
They're going to expect more. And so I think he's gone first.
All the ones that we named are 1, 3, and 2 in the table, or in the odd race. So let's see, Paul Heckenbottom. Okay, getting relegated. Who wants to go first at this?
I'll do it. Everton.
Southampton's not an option now, Ron. I know you've picked them for the past 5 years, but they're not an option. Just so you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Everton. They're already circling the drain. It's only a matter of time before they end up in the bottom of it. Luton Town, their history, and Sheffield United. No particular order. They're all gone.
You went quick. Blake?
Getting relegated. Who's yours again, Ron?
Everton, Luton Town, Sheffield.
This is going to be like the Holland thing. I have Sheffield, Luton Town, and Everton in that order. I think Everton ends at the bottom.
What were the other two? I'm sorry. Did you say the other two?
Sheffield, Luton Town, Everton. Same as Ron's. I put them in the opposite order. I put them in the order I thought they'd be in 18, 19, 20.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sheffield Town, Luton Town. Okay. I'm gonna go something similar. I'm gonna go Luton Town. Unfortunately, I will take Everton, and I want Sheffield to stay up. I really, really do. I'll go Burnley.
Ooh, Burnley's currently in 20th, right? So that's
I think they're currently at the bottom, but
that's not too far off.
Not a massive shout, but yeah. All right. Leicester-ish prediction.
I mean, Blake already built his suspense, so he's got.
That's true. Yeah, Blake might as well go first.
The Leicester-ish prediction. At first, earlier on when I was looking at these, I was going to put Brighton in the Champions League. And I thought, gosh, they did so good last year. I mean, Leicester won the league not having done that good the previous year. So it almost feels like it's not fair, even though I do think it'd be amazing to see Brighton be in the top 4. I think Ron put them in his top 4. Mm-hmm. It might not be quite Leicester's, and that's to their own credit, right? Maybe them coming in 6th or coming in, what did they come in last year? 6th. Yeah, they came in 6th. Maybe that was a Leicester-ish thing for those guys. Here's the Leicester-ish prediction. If you remember my top 4, Man City, Arsenal, then Spurs.
Correct.
Here's, guys, you ready? Here's the script writing. Despite all the things that have been said, it gets so bad, and these guys are being harassed in the street in their sports cars, and it's kind of sad but funny as guys are yelling at them on the streets of London. Something clicks behind the scenes, and they just get their crap together, and it becomes a wild race to see if this Australian guy leading the Spurs is going to be above Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea, who is somehow surged fourth. And my Leicester prediction is that they somehow get into fourth in a crazy fight while Spurs were trying to top Arsenal. Then it becomes, oh my God, is Poch going to catch us? And I don't think he quite does. And they end up in fourth.
Wow.
There's my Leicester
It's
prediction.
not a Leicester's prediction.
Yes, it is.
For Chelsea?
Chelsea's terrible.
There's no way.
I think that's good because mine's similar.
Yeah. Oh my God. If yours is Man
that's
United,
low.
I'll
Come
forget
on.
it.
$1 billion spent over the course of 3 seasons. Give me a break. There's not. If they get in they're expected to be in the top 4.
No, they're not.
With the amount of money alone they spent.
No, but
Yeah, it's not a Leicester's prediction. Give me a break. Come on.
I think it is.
No, it's not.
We're not even a good midfield table right now. We're not even a good.
No one's scared of playing Chelsea. Did you see
It's
the Nottingham
easy.
game?
You just press them; they're going to fall apart.
Yeah,
that's the end of it, right? There's not really a threat if you can figure out how to push Sterling around. Then you're really not. There's not many people who are going to come out and score against you. And if you put 2 people in front of Fernandez, well, he doesn't seem to know what to do when 2 people are there. So, but we're not a good mid-table team. So my kind of argument about this is that when they say who was it? Nottingham Forest beat Chelsea. Was that last week or the week before?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "What an amazing win!" No, it wasn't.
Nah.
We're a terrible team.
Yeah.
Why is that some amazing win?
Yes, it's Nottingham getting better, but you're right. And also, I sat here with my list and I went Brighton, Champions League. Would I be shocked at that compared if Chelsea were in it? And my answer was I couldn't say no. I think Chelsea would shock me more. So despite the money spent.
I agree with you because my Leicester's prediction is Chelsea get back into Europe.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Because we are not a good team.
That's even lower hanging fruit. You bunch of cop-outs.
Oh, wait, you're the guy who totally screwed up the Leicester's position like 2 years, a year, whatever, when you picked one that was like negative.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was, but
I agree with you, Blake, that the fact it would be gobsmackingly astonishing if Chelsea got into a top 6 place. It doesn't
top
matter
7. You just said Europe, so there's top 7 places.
Sorry. Top 7 place. We have all these people who, as Ferris has pointed out, have had one good season and then have had record transfer fees and so far have produced absolutely nothing.
Because if they don't do this, the further story is that United can Ten Hag and Pochettino finally becomes the coach of Man United next season.
That would be a more Leicesterish. God Almighty!
No, I think that's my crystal
like
ball.
Blake's
I'm rubbing the
like
crystal
top
ball.
4, okay, but then Ron goes, I'll make it even easier, and I'll just do. They got to make top 7. Like it's top 7 to make.
Hey,
Europe, man!
Aston Villa is going to knock them out of the top 7 more likely than them getting in. Come on, dude.
That's not a Leicester's prediction.
Whatever.
They're a terrible team.
Like Blake's was like, okay, that's they should make the Champions League with how much they've spent, but okay, top 4, yeah, where they finished the past season, okay, I could see it.
Clearly,
but like
the money they spent doesn't matter. They're still they're in.
They just have to move up 5 spots, and they're in from where they finished last year.
You talk to me that again.
Prediction.
Talk to me that again in like 5 more matches.
They weren't in.
Yeah,
they weren't in Europe at all last year. They weren't even close to being able to be in Europe.
Yeah, I know, which means that they ended in 12th last year. They're in 12th right now. They just have to move up 5 spots, and they're in it. Although this year, I don't see the 6th and 7th as being those yet, but I'm sure they will be.
But here's the thing,
Anyways.
Poch, as much as I like on one hand, I think Chelsea is they are at the precipice of hell, to requote our Christmas Vacation movie, where either they slide right down in and this becomes an atrocious thing and mismanaged at the top levels, or they turn around. And I mean, man, it's got to happen now, or it has to start from the beginning of next year. Like,
it's already happened. This is the beginning of it.
No. What are you?
Last season was that for them.
No. I think this start of this season is worse.
It's 4 games into a 38-game season.
After
come on, a lot can change. Like United, all like everybody was like fire Ten Hag after 3 games, and we finished in 3rd.
Hold on, Ten Hag
come on.
was my dark horse choice for canned first if things keep going bad with players at Man United, and that him and what's his nuts are now arguing and over social media. And
it's not Ten Hag's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'll tell you that. All right. My Leicester-ish prediction.
I almost did a negative Leicester's prediction for Ferris that was Ten Hag getting fired. Since Ferris did a negative one a few years ago, but I didn't. But that was on. It was definitely thought about on there. But yours better be good. You give us all this crap.
Man United win the Premier League.
That's not Leicester's prediction.
It's not. Are you kidding me? You didn't even have him in your top 4. Ron didn't even have him in their top 4. At what point do you wait? You cannot sit here and say that Chelsea only have to make you 7th in the Europa Conference League. At what chance did United have at winning the title last year?
I think it's a fair shout.
Look,
thank you, Ron.
Here's the thing. Man United came in 3rd last year. I don't think that's a Leicester's prediction. They came in 3rd.
To win over Man City and Arsenal, who ended
you
with
cannot
further
sit
points
there
ahead of them.
And give Ron and I all this crap over saying getting into Champions League and or Europe with Chelsea, and then you're going to talk. No. Chelsea ended in 12th place last year. Man United ended in
They've also
3rd.
spent $346 million.
Man United and
pounds,
Arsenal have 2 of the top, some of the largest net spends, so that's not that big of an argument.
To win the league,
well, I guess
with how Man City won the treble last year. With how far away on the points it is, that's much more than Chelsea making top 7.
This is ridiculous. Oh, this is ridiculous. Like,
I love it.
The Leicester is Man
Blake,
United.
Like, think of it this way: Man United will have to pick up Bruno's lower lip and drag him to the top of the table for all the whining and complaining and crying that he doesn't.
Oh my gosh, here we go. You know what I almost sent you guys today?
I think that there's enough muscle on that team to do it.
I had just said
Bruno had created the most chances in Euros so far in Euro.
It had nothing to do with the fact that he's a whiny baby.
I love.
He certainly can be.
I was like, man, we're going along. We're agreeing too much, and then Ferris pulls this crap on the Leicester's prediction.
I'll even double down on it. Newcastle United win the Champions League. Get you some of that. Is that a Leicester-ish?
Is that a cookie puss beer over some crappy ice cream?
I'm not doing that. Don't you bait me into that, you son of a.
And we still have that cookie puss beer. Don't you worry. It's been out of date for 3 years.
I will do a cookie puss beer that Ten Hag does not get sacked the entire season. 100% I'll do one on that.
I'm not arguing about it. I don't really think
you ended 3rd last year. You need that's ridiculous. That's no.
So then you're telling me that Ten Hag you're saying he's going to be sacked.
No.
But instead you're saying he's going to be that great of a manager that if he wins the league, it's not that Leicester of his
No. The reason I had a dark horse for Ten Hag getting sacked is because whatever's going on with the players right now is a mess at Man United.
And
maybe I should qualify.
He can't help.
Maybe I should qualify.
Anthony,
not just say
whatever he does on his own. And Sancho, what have we seen from Sancho besides seeing reports that all the players in the locker room are fed up with Sancho and how he's acting? Because he hasn't shown anything. He handled the Ronaldo thing great.
Let me put that differently. That Ten Hag won't stay the manager should be the choice. Maybe the dude just leaves on his own because he has walked into
I don't think that'll happen.
Something that is a mess.
He's brought in pretty much every player.
But you, just like Wonder Woman,
I don't see it.
Just like Wonder Woman, you're deflecting right now. Man United in 3rd last year.
I'm not deflecting.
Is not a Leicester
We are having
prediction.
a debate, and I am answering your debate with a rebuttal on that debate.
Ron and I's way more crazy of an out there pick.
Yours possibly.
No,
Ron's
what?
top 7? Give me a break.
That should
Even if you time
that should go to tell you how much a Chelsea supporter.
That's less than half of.
But you were literally, Ron, back me up here. You were literally saying that from 12th to 7th place isn't that big of a deal, but you're saying from 3rd to 1st is.
No, it's not just the spots alone.
I mean,
it's Ten Hag's second season. It's the turmoil that's happening with the club, the takeover, all behind the scenes that we're talking about, and how far they actually were away from Man City, who has dominated the league for the past several years.
I
love
still
the odds-on favorite. Like, I bet you, if we looked right now, what are the odds to win the Premier League? They may not even be in the top 10.
And Ferris has screwed up the Leicester's prediction again, ladies and gentlemen. This is more exciting as we go because I'm gonna put this in my little notes so I got it. And Ferris said Ferris's was this because I can't wait.
And at the start of the season, they had the 4th best odds, but I don't know what the live odds are. I don't know what the live odds are. It had to have changed now.
4th best odds.
All right, live odds from Talk Sport. Man City are Chelsea have better odds to win the Premier League than Manchester United do at the moment. I kid you not, on TalkSport, live odds right now.
That seems ridiculous to me.
As of September 7th, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle United, Brighton.
I'm looking at the Vegas Insider, and that's got Man City at -250, Arsenal plus 700, Liverpool plus 800, Tottenham plus 2,000, Manchester United plus 3,300, Chelsea at 4,000.
We can agree to disagree.
Now, what's fun is they have Brighton, Hove, and Albion tying with Chelsea as far as the odds are concerned.
They have Chelsea at 20-1.
We're not
that would have been a Leicester's position to that none of us.
Right now, they have United at 40-1. That's much more of a Leicester's prediction.
None of us had the guts to say, and that would be Brighton winning the league. That would be the
That would be Leicester's prediction. I agree.
And man, do I want Arsenal to win? God, yes. Brighton, Hove. If they won the league, God, that'd be awesome. Anybody
after they're like the only team that has like well in the green of net spend, like well in the green.
At this point, and I don't care that I'm an Arsenal fan. As long as it's not Man City or Spurs, if Chelsea or your beloved Man U's won, I'd probably better than Man City. Again, I can't. But I've accepted the inevitability of it. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, God, we were so good until the end. Yeah. That was great. Yeah. Oh, this is a good pod.
Untimed.
Oh, man. Where are we at? Where are we at?
We're done.
Are we done?
We done.
Oh, man. That was a good one. Ferris.
We need some quotes, shout a beer, and we going home.
Ferris, you did a wonderful job putting together a slightly different setup for this year's.
Yeah, that was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know what? We should look at the calendar. Does it always line up with Oktoberfest kicking off? Because it's going to be
a new pod.
Yeah. A tradition.
We
need to be together so we can get those those German mini kegs you can buy of the Oktoberfest beers and actually make sure we do that live.
Or to get the boot. Just like go and do a live one at like Hollerbacks and do the big boot.
The problem,
God, that'd be a fun pot at the end of that, wouldn't it? Woo!
You can't stop until you finish it.
Well,
we'll be in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I told you that'd be a fun pod.
This pod
and we all be staying wherever we were at.
and we had this argument again.
Some sort of ride home.
It would never end. God, Ferris is still so wrong. It's driving me crazy. I can't believe I'm agreeing with. I can't believe I'm picking Chelsea, and I feel more right than Ferris does.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't believe I picked Chelsea in the top 4, and Ron didn't even go for top 4. He went top 7.
No. Do you know what's going to make you even more feeling bad though?
What's that? Even
Even at 17 years old in 2020, Zlatan took umbrage with the apparent apparently humiliating prospect of a trial with Arsenal in 2000. Granted, he had just managed 6 appearances for Malmo at such an early age, which also included his first career goal, but his self-confidence has certainly never wavered. Yet another for Arsene Wenger's long list of players I almost signed. He was quoted as saying, Zlatan that is, I was like, no way, Zlatan doesn't do auditions. I thought, you either know me or you don't. And if you don't know me, you can't really want me.
Nice.
That's the number one quote as rated by 442.com.
That's weirdly awesome in 2 ways. One, that he says that and you're like, yep, that's him. The reverse of that is I actually love that Wenger's like, I don't care who you are, audition for me. I like both sides of this story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Especially
at 17 years old, and what he said that at 17 and what he turned out to be.
Right.
Well, he could have been an invincible. Silly him.
Well, apparently not.
Oh, he's invincible. Don't worry.
He is.
Well, ladies and jelly spoons, there was our Zlatan quote. The beers we had at the pod, I had the delicious Martzen style Oktoberfest from Schultzbrow Brewing. I know I've said it a million times. Gosh, if you get to Knoxville, try this. I'll try to or go to that brewery. And the other was the Oktoberfest Fest beer from Sierra Nevada in conjunction with Kehrwieder Brewery. That's KEHRWIEDER Brewery in Germany. Holy crap. Guys, you see that one, snag it. It's really good. That's a good
absolutely. It looked good.
I had the classic Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer right out of Germany. Oh, brings back the days of Oktoberfest.
You make me excited for next week because I was a tough choice whether to do my traditional one or these today. So,
and I had the Oktoberfest favorite, John Jameson,
to fight off
Irish whiskey, to fight off the cold. I tell you what, man,
hey,
this is probably a little bit more than what the doctor subscribed when I was a kid, but
I was going to say
it is good, and it does clear up some pathogens.
Since the pod has started, you have definitely brightened up, especially when you started talking stupid about your choices there at the end. But like you brightened up.
Yeah.
He definitely gets energetic.
Yeah, he does. Well, as always, you follow us on all the socials, the X, Twitter. I don't know. That thing sucks now. I got an invite to Blue Sky Social, so I'm trying that out right now, the new Twitter alternative, but you can only do it by invites. So I'm trying it on the personal side. Whenever they open it up, if it works, I don't know, we'll do that. It's so exhausting.
Who runs that?
The guy that founded Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that funny? And now he's like a thing that, he made billions of dollars off of selling it to Musk, and now is basically making another version. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So follow us there. We don't have a TikTok. Ferris made fun of me seeing if I was going to get a TikTok because I was talking about trying.
I don't think any of us have a TikTok.
No, we don't. I don't have the energy.
God, we're a bunch of old fogies.
Yeah. I'm like, I got my Instagram. And that's hell, I just made a personal Instagram account for the first time.
Yes, you did.
Like 2 months
and so much so that I had to text him and be like, is this really you or is this a fake? I wasn't sure if it was spam or not.
I needed it for some work stuff. I was like, God, I'm finally making this. I mean, what does it matter? I already have a Facebook account, same company, but whatever. Anywho, you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on the artist formerly known as Twitter. You can follow us on Untapped. That's the fun place, man, because you see all the beer, and then it's it's like no BS, just beer. That should be their tagline.
Yeah, but you can't share the pictures to any socials anymore.
Do you know why? Because Musk changed all the rules at Twitter, so that's part of the reason why. It's super frustrating.
It used to be so good with Instagram, but
the stories you can just instantly share.
Oh yeah, Facebook and Instagram did it too. Meta,
and the option's still there on the Untapped app, so take it away.
Yeah,
right. Can't use it.
But wait, come on, guys, you got enough. But aren't Musk and what's his nuts? Who runs Facebook? Zuckerberg. Aren't they supposed to have like a MMA fight or something soon?
Yeah.
Jeez,
that'd be interesting, hey?
Guys. That right there
is
some.
Can do though, thanks to your handiwork. You can now say, "Hey Alexa, play the Brewtiful Game."
That's right. Yeah, we're now on Amazon and we're on Audible. So that's right, Ron. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, you can talk to Alexa, tell her to play the Brewtiful Game. Been playing around with
everybody's Alexa, by the way.
Just went off, because you could already say, "Hey Siri, play the Brewtiful Game." There you go. That's for you driving right now.
Wait, does that actually work?
Yes.
Yeah, when the pod's over.
Hey Siri, play the Brewtiful Game.
See, you don't believe me.
Gatlin Hall Brewing here in Orlando.
There you
Door
go.
Under Lager is
That
real nice.
that one and their Vienna Lager we won.
Look at that.
It literally brought it right up.
I love
you
it.
can do that.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah, dude. So you can find us that way.
I just learned 2 things tonight.
You're damn right I did. It's not Kennel Throat, it's Maple Street or something.
Throat. You're as
Whatever.
bad as Blake with his pot of neck bone. Kenilworth
The
Kenilworth Road, but they're off of Maple Street or Road.
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 1 Maple Road.
1 Maple Road. Well, Ferris, I was going to try to get ask you another question for the end of the pod, but I don't have a good question. I was trying to find something to do with Oktoberfest for a dad joke, but I couldn't really find anything because, I mean, I don't know, like puns about Oktoberfest are the worst.
Well done.
Great setup there. I like it.
You know, it's also the worst. Brat farts.
Oh,
You're
That's
welcome.
why I dropped to an 8 out of 10 dad joke opposed to a 10 out of 10 because you followed it up with that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The unneeded terrible assist. All right, dudes. Well, hey, this is a really fun pod. I've been looking forward to doing this one.
yeah, that's a good one.
Love that it lined up with Oktoberfest. If that's always going to happen, then we always are going to do this. This is great.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah,
All
this is a-
right. Here you go, gents. Love the beer. Cherish the game. Prost, the Brewtiful Game.
Sláinte.